Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the DCO SourceCast. I am, of course, Trex. Alongside me, all the way from the USPS, is Super Patriot. That's your cue, Soups.
What's going on, everybody? How you doing? I know, I said hi. What's up? Damn.
Well, apparently I'm getting a little slowness because there was like this whole gap of nothing but dead air that I have to fix.
Yeah, you get.
So
Dude,
maybe,
I said something immediately after you said something there.
I
Oh, you
didn't
know what
hear
it might be? My stream's not muted. My stream's not muted. My bad.
it's okay. But then we have someone else from the USPS. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the show, Soar.
It's good to be back, guys. What's up?
There we go. If everyone remember, the last time we had Soar, we were talking about the nature power roll or power set, and Soar is created an amazing guide for nature on the forums that you guys should definitely go take a look at. He has also done amazing guides talking about giving everyone links to the patch notes, which I still absolutely love. Helps me trying to figure out what happened.
Yeah, that one's pretty useful.
And he's also another member of our community council that we love talking to him and hearing him try to come up with bugs that he's like, are you guys having these bugs too? We're not. We don't know what's going on. Because I saw your message like the next morning on Skype and I didn't know what was going on. I'm like, what? It's just Soar's crazy. He's just crazy. So, Soar, how have you been last time that we've spoken?
You must have. Oh, I've been good. Yeah, I bet you were probably like testing, like all in one shot. Because on the test server for me, if I relogged or if I switched characters, it reset all of my progress. But they fixed that since.
Correct. Yeah. I saw your message and I think I typed it in our group, and I was like, I don't, because I relogged a couple of times to get to my villain character, and I went back to my hero, and nothing reset for me. So maybe it's just like the test server knows you're a PlayStation player, and it knows that it's trying to mess with you.
Probably. It might have been like how my character was created, like whether it's a carryover from previously or newly created last time, or could be something like that.
Yeah. So how have you been on the US? You're on the PS4 as well, correct?
Oh, definitely. Yeah, I upgraded to PS4 on the very first day. So for us, it's been pretty slow going, waiting for game update 32 to come out, fix our queue issues. I was kind of waiting until that was fixed before doing anything big. I know some people were able to work around it by, just trying to queue and unqueue and look if a PS3 player could see if it showed they were queued, because really you were just not seeing the right status. But the cool thing now is it's fixed. So we can get in there and, do what we need to do in game.
Excellent. And how's your league doing? As your villain.
Oh, perfect. Yeah, Perfect Legends. It's a good league. Our league leader is Perfect Legend. He's a pretty cool guy. It's one of those leagues. You see him where like most successful leagues have at least one guy that kind of runs it and makes sure everybody can get in stuff and make sure everyone gets a chance to get geared up, and we'll set up special runs for people if they haven't gotten what they needed for the week, and he does that. So it's a good league.
That is awesome, and all you league leaders out
no,
there.
I don't want to do that.
Yeah, exactly. I've done my stuff with league, being a guild leader in one of my old MMOs, and I was that for about a year. And as fun as I had with it, I don't want to do it again. So much pressure.
Oh, it's certainly a thankless job. Other than the fact here I am thinking.
Exactly. Such a nice guy, Source. Such a nice guy. So let's talk a little bit about next year with as the announcement was for SOE Live 2014, August 14th through the 17th. And that's where we met Soar for the first time. And after going to the Heart Bar, We're trying to have conversations, but that bar would not let us have that conversation. The best memory I have was Soar.
Late enough, the eye candy shows up.
Yes. So, have you already begun to make the preliminary plans to head back to SOE Live next year?
I was having some audio issues there. I couldn't hear you.
Oh, I was just asking, have you already begun the stages of planning for SOE Live next year?
Yeah.
Yeah, I definitely am planning on going. I just have to look at the timing and all that, but I think I'm definitely going to be able to do it.
Cool, because I know some of the other people who weren't able to go last year, after posting all those videos, all the information that was from there, I'm thinking we're gonna see a larger DCO fan base as for Live 14. That's what I'm crossing my fingers for, at least.
Yeah, I heard the first year, or 2 years ago, it's not really the first year for anything, but 2 years ago, barely anyone from DCO was there. I heard it was maybe 10, 20 people, where this year you could definitely tell, or this past year, you could definitely tell that it was at least, 100 people, maybe 200. I mean, you're dwarfed by the EQ people and the Planet Side 2 people, but I bet you that trend of the number of people that show up keeps growing.
Yes, and cannot wait for it. Cannot wait. All right. So, and Brittany will be there next year as well. Can't wait for that. So let's go ahead and talk a little bit about why. Actually, I keep forgetting. We have to talk about.
Oh, you want to jump into the Friday night tour?
We got to talk about Friday Night
Legends.
Legends. Once again, another tournament.
Legends.
Another tournament that was put together once again very well by Daddio of the DCUO CEC, the Community Event Council, if they're still around, but I'm going to go with that. And just like I told Super Patriot last week, Daddio this week as well, and all the other events that you have done, you've been a part of, they have been fantastic. Keep up the good work. If you haven't heard yet, you're doing an amazing job. So keep on trucking. Now, if I heard correctly,
yeah, what do you think, Super Patriot? Probably the second best event organizer in DC Universe.
Oh, nice.
I like that. That was nice. So
no, man, I've been having a blast doing these FNLs. So I mean, I know Daddy-O's having fun too, doing it too. So yeah, I mean, it's a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun. It's fun watching the matches. I mean, of course, these Twitch changes that are coming about though are a bit annoying and frustrating to see and realize.
That's right. The Twitch chats.
What with?
Yeah. So apparently, Twitch has come up with the
the stream. The stream.
Yes.
The stream is going to be 20-second delay.
No, it's 60.
And apparently, they're working on doing a 60-second one. No, it's at 20-second right now, and then they're talking about doing a 60-second delay. So I'm like, well, that's just great. I was like, I'm gonna because when we're on the stream. They are. I'm talking to Meps and Jens on the stream, and the stream's actually muted for me, so I'm not hearing the stream itself. I'm hearing those guys talk. So I'm like hearing 20 seconds in the future, but I'm seeing 20 seconds in the past. And now it's going to be even worse. As I'm just waiting for the moment when. Jens, turns and he's like, "What'd you think of that match, Super Patriot?" And I'm gonna be like, "Let me know when. I'll let you know when it's done." So I mean, it's gonna be.
Yeah, let me cook an egg and then I'll tell you.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of hard for me as well because I interact with chat all the time, so it's like a whole minute's gone by. I'm like, "What are they talking about? What did I say? I don't remember what I said." We're all like on two different wavelengths now.
Why are they angry?
So
with
are you
me?
guys required to have the same format, between what goes on at PC and what goes on PS3? Like, is MEPS telling you, like, next next one, he said it's going to be 1v1 for PS3. Is that going to be PC too? I know you're not Daddy-O, but have they been telling you guys how to do the format, or are they
yeah,
that
that's
up
mainly
to you?
that's mainly the plan. Yeah, I mean, so I think last time, like this time around for the second ones we've done here, like they were like, okay, let's do another 2v2, and there's like what map, and we were like, well, we did enter, so let's do Batcave. And then I think when we were talking about the 1v1s, it was brought up. So it was mentioned about doing Temple of Isis 1v1s, and I was like, that's going to be a 15-minute match every time. I mean, almost every time it's going to be 15 minutes of a match because I mean, it's that's the way that map scores. It scores per death on there. So
that is right.
I'm not sure what map we decided on this time around. It may be Shadowlands. I'm not positive. And I may be speaking out of turn, but I think it is Shadowlands.
You're not going to do a 1v1 Australia?
A game of tag.
Yeah.
That would be something else.
I think 1v1 Australia would definitely be a pain right there, especially to not just participate in, but to spectate would be really difficult because eventually you end up losing somebody. I mean, all of a sudden you're like, oh, the heroes have captured this node. Heroes have captured the cigarette. Oh, let's head over there and see if they're fighting. Oh, wait, no, there's nobody over here. And then villains have captured the processing plant. What?
And of course, Meps comes in the chat. Met comes in the chat with he rules with an iron fist, and I'm gonna have to agree with that. He kind of does. He puts the kibosh on a lot of stuff Jens wants to do. So maybe he's gonna put the kibosh on all of you guys as well. Make sure you stay on your toes.
Yep.
So that was a really good tournament tonight. One of the things I like to do is to really go to the actual challenge site and watch the things progress there too. Like if you go to fnltour.challenge.com, you can actually, I favorite that so I can see it every time. If you look on that site, when it shows the results, it shows like for the winners. I love it. It's the Clutchmeister and Future Slob are supreme champion. Worthy adversary is Wonderp and African American Adam. And then in little tiny print, maybe next time, is Pyro and Mr. Squash.
That's one of the things I really liked about tonight's FNL as well. It was Buzzworthy versus Slob. They went toe-to-toe, and that was a really good match as well. Just seeing the former partners just go toe-to-toe. Brought a lot of drama, you could say, even though there's probably none there. But then, of course, the champions, like we had to call it, was, of course, Clutchmeister and, oh, crap. Something in my eye. Sorry. Was Clutchmaster and Slob, which was really cool, really cool. Yes,
the surprise.
Sorry.
The surprising thing there, the big gossip and the big news is that they are no longer in anime esports.
I saw that in chat. I did. DK did not tell me that, so I got a little egg on my face around that too. It's like, wait, but at the same time, even though they're not with anime esports, I have a lot of respect for Clutch and Slob and Buzzworthy. Hanged out with them at SOE Live, so I definitely stood up when someone called Clutch being a glitcher. I definitely stood up for him. I was like, dude, there is footage from SOE Live. I've seen the dude with the keyboard in his hands. The dude is not glitched. The dude is just that damn good. When you see it live and you see it,
and a lot of it's really just how good you are with your block breaks and blocks and all, and just regular, counter mechanics. That's 90% of it.
Agreed. But so the next tournaments will be coming up in January, and they're both going to be 1v1s, right, Soups? Is that what I'm hearing?
Yes.
Okay. So I can't. I can't.
Is the plan.
I'm not gonna say I'm gonna sign up, but I might think about it. Just, I mean, because a 1v1, I could probably at least do. A 2v2, I need a partner, and I don't want to make that partner look bad.
Can you?
Maybe.
Can you do a 1v1?
Maybe. Possibly. Ooh. As long as it's not arena, I think I can hold my own. Bring out my Lex Luthor, and I think I could probably do pretty well. But you never know. I'll think about it. I got until January. It's staring in my mind. Right, but once again, Daddy-O, great. Another great FNL. And Meps and Jens, great job on commentating. Let's go into our big, one of our big things, because tonight we're going to be talking with Soar about the nature changes. Oh. Apparently, call was dropped. Well, we didn't have technical issues last week.
He was probably like, Source probably like, man, screw this, like this 2-bit operation.
2-bit.
Podcast.
93 episodes and it's 2-bit.
Yeah, I agree. Michael Grada would not be the SourceCast if we did not have technical issues. I mean, somebody's got to make it hard for Trex to edit.
See, and that's the thing, because right after this podcast, I'm going to go watch Anchorman tonight. I'm going to watch a movie with my friends. So, Soups, while we have this downtime, how have you been?
I've been all right. Working with my league and all that. We're ironing out some things and everything. When we get a league, that's got a lot of people who PvP and all that. Some personalities are going to clash. And it's going to happen. But I mean, you stick to it and all that. Communication. That's the best. That's the biggest thing to maintain a league, especially a league with a lot of people in it. So we do have a good sized number of people in here.
Okay.
But what are you gonna do? Can't make everybody happy.
You cannot. All right. So while Soar is, he's going to restart.
Issues with Soar.
Yeah, he's not picking up, but he's going to reboot his PC just to be safe. So, I was going to talk about it anyways, but we can go ahead and talk a little bit about it. FNL, by the way, coming back in January. We're going to be coming back with some PvE challenges, first of the year. So, woot to that. So, let me actually come over here to the game.
Two-man Nexus.
Two-man Nexus, wow. Wow. So, before I switch over to the game, I want to make sure I tell everybody right now, I have set up my character for DLC 9. Black Ember will be getting a power change, and he will be getting renamed. I have made that decision. Oh, yeah. I have made that decision today. Mainly why I made that decision today was because of fact the 50% off sale going on right now on the marketplace for US. Sorry, EU.
Yeah, that's pretty beast. Too bad I got a call from my bank earlier this week telling me that my debit card information got compromised.
Son of a bitch!
My number. Yeah. So they're like, well, yeah, just MasterCard contacted us to say that your card number was compromised. They haven't specified how or anything. And I'm like, well, have there been any abnormal charges? And they're like, no, there hasn't been. I'm like, okay, good. They're like, well, we were just doing this call and all that just to see if you wanted us to go ahead and block the number. Yes, please block the number. That way, they just because there hasn't been doesn't mean they won't.
Yeah.
So yes, please block the number. But of course, it was earlier this week. I still have Christmas shopping to do. And there's a 50% sale going on right now, so I'm not overly pleased by this.
Yes.
I mean, I was able to get the rest of my inventory space maxed out on my character, or on my account, and I picked up one thing I think of. I already have my power. I already had my power token ready to go for DLC 9. Switching over to the new Rage powers. No, Michael Grid, I was not shopping at Target. I cannot remember the last time I stepped foot inside of a Target, so I don't know how that happened. But that Target crap was messed up. Because I mean, I got the call. I got the call the day before that Target news hit, and I was so I'm standing there not looking at the TV while they're talking about that Target news, and I'm like, "Have I been to Target?" I'm like, no, I don't think. I cannot remember the last time I've been to a Target, so I don't know how it got happened. Well, no, they were contacted by MasterCard, so it could have been my bank, or it could have been actually gotten swept up somehow in some other. I mean, because apparently the stuff that happened at Target, it goes on all the time. That kind of stuff happens all the time, and it's just only really gets a lot of news whenever a big chain like Target gets hit with it. So I don't know, but that being said, I already have my Power Respect token ready to go. And today I picked out my styles that I'm going to be. I'm not changing my name because this game wouldn't be the same without Super Patriot in it. Everybody knows that, whether you like it or not.
I know. So after banking with Super Patriot.
Yeah, but like I said, okay, I've got the Power Respect token all ready to go. Switched to the Rage powers, and I picked out my new style. For this, that I'm gonna be wearing my new Rage Lantern uniform for Super Patriot. It's looking pretty beast. I think people are gonna like it. It's still, it's got some similarities to what I've got now, but it's definitely gonna have that Red Lantern look to it.
Cool. So are you back with us?
Yeah, I'm back with you.
Excellent. I was actually about to go into the game on the live server real fast just to show everybody the marketplace items, the whole big sale that's going on. When they made the announcement onto the forums about the sale, they said the word "some." I'm not really sure where the word "some" came from because that's not what I saw.
Like, you see a lot or a little?
It's a lot. Just a lot. Hold on one sec.
I think they were just basically hedging the fact that you can't get DLCs, you can't get the big, like, Ultimate Edition pack, and things like that.
But anyways, let's switch over to game. And you guys get the first look of my new character, or my new design for my Red Lantern. The pants are still working. I'm feeling the pants, but it's the shoes I'm not really comfortable with. So I'm still trying to make sure if the shoes actually work. But I'm pretty happy with her. You guys should see them on the stream in a moment, because I know you guys don't get to see actually my side. Which one day I will fix that.
So she's based off of the Raged power set.
That is correct.
That's what you're setting up for.
This is my Red Lantern. And I am really, really psyched for it. God, I really hate the 60-second, 20-second delay on chat. It just messes me up internally. But I got the Guy Gardner style vest. I got Sinestro gauntlets. I don't have Kyle Rayner's mask. The heroes can get that mask because it's an epic rare drop in Coast City, right? The heroes can get that. Or is it a villain thing and I have to trade it over?
No, heroes can get it. You get it off of Kyle Rayner.
Yeah, okay, that's what I wanted to.
I think everybody, hero and villain, fights Kyle Rayner in that raid, or that alert. So everybody can get it.
Okay, so that's really the only. I'm missing that mask.
I know in the comic books that's a pretty sick mask.
It is. It is a really, really sick mask. So that's probably the one thing I like about Kyle. So this is my guy. I have the chevron belt, so I can have that red glow. Just because I can't have the Red Lantern symbol, so I can at least have the chevron belt that will glow. So that'll be for me. It's a little thing.
So that you can be like, ladies, my eyes are up here.
My eyes are. That's
You're all looking
right.
at yourself.
Sore.
Ladies.
Eyes up here. Stop. No, nothing's glowing down there. Eyes up here. So let's actually look at the marketplace as it loads. And like I said before, when it says some, it's not saying some. I opened it up and my jaw just dropped on how many things are just overflowed with discount. Everything is just discounted. And my marketplace is really taking a long time to load. It's really hurting my soul right now. But as an example, the Wonder Woman, Cersei, all the Legends, half. I mean, Wonder Woman and Cersei, 500 station cash. 500 station cash. I think future Batman and future Harley are 250. 250 Legends. Or 250 station cash. I was like, yeah, let's do that. I mean, I only have 2,000 something. Wow, I'm like getting no feeling from a marketplace whatsoever. Unable to start marketplace. That's not what I really wanted to see. So what am I doing? I'm loading it back up. I feel Meps is trying to stop me from getting onto the marketplace. I may switch to a different character. I don't know. But
Could be because so many people are on the marketplace right now buying stuff up. That's why you can't get on there.
that's probably very true as well. But I mean, the Legends characters.
I'm sorry. I'm not supposed to introduce logic into Trex's life.
Oh, very true. No, you can't bring reason. You can't bring reason into my life.
Yeah. Logic and deductive reasoning are taboo subjects for Trex.
Yes. So as I stated, forums. So Wonder Woman right here, 500 station cash. Cersei, 500 station cash. The festive winter hat is back, along with the reindeer antlers. So get your reindeer on. Woot woot. Your DLCs, I can't tell you your DLCs. Actually, the DLCs don't even matter. So, because they're not part of the sale. But it's nice to see that my Fight for the Light was purchased. I bought that. Everything else was granted to me. So I'll always own Fight for the Light. Upgrades is what I'm actually going to show you guys right now so you can see that I'm serious about this. I am buying my Power Type Respect token for 500 station cash. I also want to give a shout out to Michael Grid, who actually was generous a couple of weeks ago to give me. He gave me some station cash as a thank you for a job well done and everything. So I am very appreciative of Michael Grid for that. And of course, Meps asked in chat,
man.
Are more people who are not Trex having problems with getting into the marketplace? Thanks, Meps. So my power type
This
is.
is messed
Be
up,
honest,
dude.
he gave you that
This is
station
messed
cast
up,
because
dude.
you went farming for him.
I didn't do anything for him. Well,
Trex gets station cash from people. He gets plasma arrows from people. You know what I got from somebody the other day in my email?
What'd
in
you
the
get?
game here?
What'd you get?
I got an email that said, "Hey, thanks for the vids." Had a bunch of like trash loot drops, right, and a silicone wafer.
I get those too, though. I get those too. Still love you, though. If I could give out once I'm able to give out like the PlayStation, however you guys call it, the money marketplace as a gift, I'll give it as a gift. I'll give Zero Patriot a gift because you are my bro. You're my bro. So, and I'm also picking up my name change device for 500 station cash. These are normally 1,000 station cash, by the way. They're normally 1,000. So now I have 1,600 left. What am I going to do with my 1,600? I'm going to save it because I'm a hoarder. I could actually pick up Arkham Asylum, 500 station cash. Arkham Asylum Joker, future Batman, future Harley 250. It's great. So much good things. And of course, I've already bought all the weapon packs, so it doesn't matter. So this sale is going on. It started today on the 20th, and it will end on December 23rd. So ask mom, don't rob a bank, but nudge, nudge, rob a bank, and get some money, get some station cash, get some loyalty points, and have at thee. Have at thee. This is a good sale. People want a sale, and we got a sale, even if it is only for 4 days.
Man, I wish this was what the Black Friday sale was, because I went to town on that sale. I'm up to 12,000 replay badges right now. That would be so much
God. That's okay. That's insane. So I'm gonna let Black Ember, and actually I haven't even chosen a name for him yet. I have Trex Rage, and then I have
Red Ember,
and I have Red Ember's already taken.
Oh, that sucks.
It was taken, but there was a suggestion for Blood Red Ember. There was a suggestion for Blood Red Ember. So, with Blood Red Ember or Trex Rage, I want you guys to tweet me or go on Facebook and post it to my wall. I want to hear the votes from the SourceCast fans, from all the fans out there. Do you guys want to see Trex Rage or do you want Blood Red Ember? Those are the two that you have to choose. So, hashtag it on Twitter, hashtag it on Facebook if you have to. But Trex Rage, Blood Red Ember, what do you guys want the name to be? I myself am more voting for Trex Rage, but I listen to the fans. So, Soar, let's talk about.
I'm showing my support for the write-in vote for Ant Flow.
No.
There it is.
Oh my God.
There it is.
There it is for Red Lantern.
No write-ins. No. Ew. That's wow. Cannot believe you went there, Sora.
Trexy pad. Trexy pad.
What? What's just happened here?
It could be a flight character, so Trexy Pad has wings.
Oh my God!
You could use the half off sale to buy the marketplace Sinister Wings for that.
Oh my God! Oh my God! Yeah, I do have wings.
Get those. They have to be the malevolent wings, though, that you're wearing. Go back in the marketplace and make sure you get the malevolent wings off the marketplace.
Sore broke us. He broke us. I can't concentrate. Okay.
I think I broke the SourceCast.
Alright, so you can't see it, but I am writing that down because I might just use that. It might not be on my main, but I might make a character with that name just in case. And Malevolent Wings. Let's make sure we put that. Malevolent Wings. Okay. So, Sore, besides breaking our sides from laughter. Game Update 32 brought out the nature changes that you were very vocal with in the feedback section. And now that you've had a chance to... You got to play with it on test server as well, right? I don't know if you were on there or not.
Yep, I played with it on a test server, did some live streams for it on Twitch, participated in the threads. But really, in all honesty, for this revamp, there wasn't a ton of changes. It wasn't like Gadget or Mental, and we understand they've communicated some of the intent behind that. If you can go back as far as 2 years ago, Larry Liberty did an interview for Fanfare at that time, SOE Live, and he was talking about how they needed more headroom in the RAM for the PS3 to be able to add more characters, and that's what a lot of the revamps were originally about. So they were trying to redo animations and redo stuff like that so that they could fit more in-screen and in-game. And so as they kind of went through that, they were able to actually add more powers. We got the whole, hard light, electric, and earth, and then later on they were able to add, quantum, celestial, and now coming up rage. By the sounds of what they're saying, it almost sounds like if they had even decided to do a visual revamp for nature and sorcery, that wouldn't really buy us 3 more powers. Because visually, they were, at least the performance of the animations were in a good place already. So they decided not to give us a visual overhaul, with a nuance to that. Because when we look at like voracious plants and serpent's call for nature, because that's pretty much, I'm going to focus on talking about nature. Those are 2 new abilities, and they have animations that nature didn't have before, so we can at least claim that. But for the most part, the things that really stand out with this overhaul, they renamed the trees flora and fauna, so that's pretty cool, just from a naming perspective, because it breaks the shapeshift, because it was plants and shapeshifting. So flora means plants anyway. Fauna means animals, pretty much. So what we get there is we're no longer stuck to that other tree having this kind of broken theme idea of just shapeshifting, which it's hard to fill a whole tree with stuff that makes sense with that. So when they did those 2 name changes, the fauna tree, the animals tree they actually pulled powers over from the flora tree, so swarm came over. On top of that, they got rid of pterosaur form. They combined insect form and bug form, so between those 2, that's why they're able to add new powers. And when you look at the logical organization of the powers in the trees, it definitely makes more sense. Some little things that are really nice, the insectoid form, now you can go into super speed flying movement mode. The weapon combos for insect form have been improved, at least so far as there's a lunge now. Before it used to be if you hold melee, it would just do like the savage growth animation. And there are times, where you want to actually do a lunge to kind of travel ground. Say you were trying to you're in Nexus and the shields are up and you're just out of position, but the guy that's doing the shield on the boss, if you lunge into the boss, you could get within that shield in a short time frame. So now insectoid form players can do that. The hold range is still kind of that bug puke thing that people aren't too thrilled about, mostly because it doesn't give us the combo opportunity to do a solar flame, which a lot of hand blaster players like to do, but it's still overall an improvement on that front. Wolf form, it's got super speed movement mode, so it can go into the supersonic speed. It can it's got revamped weapon combos. It actually has ranged attacks, so a lot of wolf players can actually try it out in more of the top tier raids now that there's at least ranged attacks. Other than that, I mean, they'll bring that up. The big thing that I see with the 2 new abilities, Serpent's Call will basically it's a higher, or it's like a first tier or second tier ability. It's only a 35% modifier, and basically it's not like this big huge damage ability that you're probably going to be taking advantage of at raids. It'll be great leveling up, and you can probably find other scenarios to use it. So I mean, the animation is pretty cool because it's ranged AoE damager that does these little snakes that kind of go up and kind of attack your enemy. It's an ability that you could see from Serpent's Claw and League of Assassins used to do. So that's pretty cool.
Right.
And then and it basically does a ranged AoE burst damage and then does 4 ticks of a really tiny dot. But similar to that, Voracious Plants, now that's the one that's really going to make a big difference because it's a 50% damage modifier, and it's actually got a PI, which is really cool because that was one of the things I was calling for is if fantastic. So it's ranged, it's AoE, it's got a short cooldown, it's got a short animation. It's really the attack power that every power set which wishes they had for the sake of tough raids that you need to be ranged. That's really cool. The damage that it does when the PI is there is a significant boost. In addition to that, Harvest got some improvements on the DPS and healer side. On the DPS side, no, I'll do the healer side first. On the healer side, if you decide to use Harvest, which Harvest always was at least a pretty decent heal, because it would, just like Blossom, it would give you 20 to 30 base healing for every pheromone stack that's out there, except for it wouldn't remove those pheromones. That's exactly what Blossom does. The only difference is that Blossom also does a single target heal to the person that's hurt the most. So that's like you do the pheromone boost and the single target, and that's what makes it awesome. So at least Harvest is just the pheromone boost without the single target, which is a decent thing to take advantage of every now and then. But it used to spread the poison dots from DPS players and steal them. And with you being a healer and having low might, that would be very low damage. So at least Harvest now, what it's going to do is if a DPS has dots already on a target, it won't steal those dots. But if there's other targets in the area that don't have the dots on them, it'll spread the dots to them, as well as doing the heal. So healers can't steal dots anymore. So that's pretty sweet. The other thing that Harvest does from a heal or from a DPS perspective now that's really cool is that it used to be Harvest would spread dots, but the dots on your target would just kind of die away. But now the dot, and if you wanted to keep your dots living, you'd have to switch targets to a second target and hit Harvest again so that you've respread dots to all other targets and your original target. So you'd find yourself kind of bouncing around between targets. And if you were on a boss fight, there are no other targets. So just when your Harvest does nothing for you other than just being damage that you can use. So the nice thing there is you can cast Harvest now on the target that you've actually stacked your dots on, and it'll spread them and refresh the dots on that target, which means you never need to really restack. You can just keep refreshing and respreading just by casting Harvest over and over. So then after your dots are kind of stacked and spread, you can actually get into a sustained burst damage rotation, of doing a weapon ability, clip it with Harvest, do a weapon ability, clip it with Voracious Plants, do a weapon ability, clip it with Voracious Plants, and then do Harvest again, and just keep that cycle going. And you can get some massive damage out, and you never have to stop that cycle other than maybe to recast something like Swarm. So the damage potential for nature just got sent through the roof. I think the only thing we're kind of watching out for now is, does that make it too easy? Or with the bonus of like Voracious Plants, are we going to start doing too much damage? And that's the thing that I hope isn't the case. I mean, it's really going to be decided by the best DPS players, what they can come out with. I'm certainly not that. I know a lot about the power set, but not quite a bit as much on that front. So, but those little things will make a pretty big difference. And plus Harvest used to be vulnerable to interrupt, so you'd get knocked out of it all the time, and now it's not, so that's pretty sweet for us. But the last of it really is just the changes that they did to Bloom, which was the DPS group used to use Bloom as a replacement for like using phase dodge if you don't want to be super speed and you want to be able to clip damage, but do a damage ability, clip it, and then go back into like your next damage ability, which phase dodge will let you do if they're super speed. And before we used to use Bloom for that by casting Bloom and then jump canceling out of it. But now since you can't do that anymore, because you can't jump cancel out of Bloom anymore, because they kind of changed it to where it actually just starts healing right away with a bunch of ticks, a bunch of smaller ticks, then has a big blast at the end. So it basically gives you the same healing it used to give you, but now that's actually, you don't have to wait for this really long cast. that might be too late and people might have died. Now you'll get some ticks leading up to the big burst, which might be enough to keep someone alive or enough to really bring the group up. But one of the things that's also cool about it is it pushes NPCs away from you, which I'm kind of curious how that might be used in scenarios of, like, say somebody dies, you could potentially have a DPS or a controller pop their shield, run over to pick up that player, and if you're nearby, why not cast Bloom to push NPCs away from them as well? That could make a difference for getting someone up or not. So I think that's pretty slick. So we'll just kind of see how the rest of it plays out, because the rest of it's just going to be people in the field. So it's a lot of minor quality of life improvements. Probably the only thing that we didn't see that we had besides a visual overhaul, or some people wanting to see shapeshifting gone, or some people that wanted to see the pets managed differently, instead of like Swarm, maybe give us a little Gallows Oak or something like that. We didn't get stuff like that, but we also didn't get, a lot of people wanted to just, hey, fix all dot overwriting for all power sets all at once, and that would be pretty slick. But they didn't do that. But they had been talking about that being something that they're interested in doing, but weren't gonna necessarily probably be able to do too fast, because it requires engineering, not just building a power set in the player package or manipulating a power set, but actually the whole damage engine throughout all of their servers. So it's probably not surprising we didn't get that. But hey, we keep our fingers crossed for one day, because that'll make it better for 2 nature healers or 2 nature DPS to be in the same group.
I completely agree. A lot of players were talking about wanting the new visual changes done for sorcery and nature. On a visual standpoint, I've always enjoyed nature and sorcery just like it is. The fact when they said that we wouldn't get the visual changes, I was taken back. I'm like, it's okay. It's okay, because they've had other things on their plate. They've had the PlayStation 4 launch. They've had DLC 9 to work with. So, especially in this game, never say never. They just might come down the line sometime next year, and it's like, oh, by the way, here's new visual changes for Sorcery and Nature. Just out of the blue. You never know. So, down the road, they could still do it.
And if I recall correctly, it wasn't...
Go ahead.
If I recall correctly, wasn't it during the Ice and Fire revamp, weren't a lot of the Ice players kind of mad that visually they didn't get a lot of big changes? I mean, they got... obviously, their Ice armor was changed and their Ice Elemental was changed, but they were complaining about how toned down their visuals were, because a lot of their abilities were switched to just that little blue beam, and 3, 4, 5 different of their attacks kind of all shared the same exact animation. So, it's not surprising. It could have been just take our existing animations, and they could have taken us in that direction, and I don't think we necessarily wanted that.
Yes, with Ice, I think the one big thing was their Ice, how the Ice armor worked with the spikes. I know for me, the one visual I liked with Ice was when I used Reflection. That whole circle ball of ice came around me, and I can truly enjoy that visual. But yeah, Ice got minimum stuff with it. I think it was more some stuff was toned down, others was increased, just to make it more condensed, but still pretty on the eyes. Just like, and with Fire, I'm not going to say we got a complete overhaul, but the new Fire visuals were very welcomed, very awesome. So I got a chance to play a little bit with Nature, and I really enjoyed working with it. And I have to say, on a standpoint too, because when I hopped on the test server and had my chance to go with Nature and Sorcery, I had to update the skill planner. Nature kicked my butt compared to Sorcery, because of the fact that with Nature, Swarm moved to a new tree, two new powers came in. Then all of a sudden, powers condensed on each other, so I had to change. I'm like, oh, stop it, Nature. And I came to Sorcery, and it's like, oh, this is cool, neat. We're done sorcery. Okay, cool. So, I mean, the tree changes alone was a headache for just the renaming of the trees. What is going to be a headache when I go back into the code to rename everything? Because I have code that goes with, like, plant image 3. And it's like, well, wait, the tree's now named Flora. Do I want to keep it plants, or do I need to change it to Flora? And it's like, screw it, I'm going to keep it plants. I can know what's going on. I'll make a note if someone else touches it. But, Voracious Plants, I really, really like that ability. I don't know why. But just visually, just seeing it, it's like you hit it, it goes out there, and it splits off to other enemies. So it does hit multiple targets. Is there a max on how many targets it can actually hit? I haven't actually tested that yet.
I want to think the max is 4, but I think it splits after 2, if I recall correctly.
Okay.
If you look in the testing forum, the testing feedback, I started to post some base damage and base number sort of stuff, and then Shiny Mackerel came in and just like laid it out for everyone. All the base damages, all the dot ticks, how many targets it hits, whether it splits or not. Shiny's really stepped up his game on the forums over the last 6 months of really contributing, strong details to this game. One of the things I had to do, I was just trying to decide. I didn't want to see nature change a lot on the test server and me try to keep up with that with my nature guide. So I decided to hold off until like it hit live to make those edits too. So the first day it was on live, I've revamped a whole bunch of loadouts for people to work with, and I've removed some sections that just aren't even relevant anymore, like bloom, jump canceling, and that sort of stuff. Put a little bit more emphasis on phase dodge, even though it's a movement ability, and then. But I still think in terms of building rotations and building loadouts, I tried to get a lot of good information for people. Crappy Heals right now in chat, I can see mentioned, a lot of people are using Karmic Hex to clip with because it doesn't cost any power and it has a short cooldown. So I've been meaning to build that into the guide. I just haven't played with that yet. Okay. But it's definitely a work in progress now that, it's kind of a new world of rotations and abilities, and people are finding what they like. So I think it's worthwhile for the community to kind of step forward and step out and help me. People like Crappy Heals, GB, are always contributing their thoughts and their ideas and their experiences with the power set. Obsidian Chill does similar, and that helps me a lot.
Excellent.
Yeah, but how much thought can you put into a guy named Crappy Heals?
Oh.
Is he as advertised?
What's up, Crappy? How you doing there?
Now one question I wanted to have with it, because one of the changes that was done with was Harvest. I believe Harvest, I think that's Harvest I wanted to talk about, was they removed the encasement with Harvest. But yet when you do the ability... Oh, go ahead.
Yeah, it's kind of weird because normally when you do an encasement, say like mental thought bubble, it puts people in bubbles. They can roll away. You can pick them up and throw them. From what I'm seeing, when you cast Harvest, it still does that plant animation. And it looks like they're in an encasement, but you can't walk up to it and like pick it up and throw it or anything like that. So that's where it's not technically an encasement anymore. But from what it looks like they're still kind of snapped and trapped, almost like they're like an encasement animation, but they're technically just stunned. Or, I'm not sure exactly how they're in the game classifying that.
Okay. Because that's what I was... Because when I read it was encasement, and then I saw it come up and stun, I'm like, whoa, wait, is that the encasement? Is that what's going on? What happened here? So I want to wait to talk to you about that before it's like, I don't know what was going on in this thing. The changes with insectoid form and primal wolf form, combine them into one, making Insectoid form, healer role only, and in Primal Wolf form, DPS only. I don't play nature, but just seeing it and then playing with it was a really, really awesome move on their part. Because I know a lot of people got mad.
You know, that's actually a return to where they came from, because back when it was in very early beta, Primal Wolf form, Insectoid form, Canine form, and Gorilla form were all one ability called minor forms. And at one point in beta, they split them out to being the separate abilities. They used to be one. Back then, Gorilla form wasn't even a supercharge, but it wasn't as, powerful as it is now too.
Okay. In Gorilla form still
a little bit.
In Gorilla form, I messed around with it because I accidentally pressed a button. It was on my loadout for some golf reason. I didn't know what was going on with Gorilla form. So, and while I'm on that, what is Gorilla form really primarily used for? Is it more or less for another way to heal, or is it a DPS?
Well, it's really popular in PvP for scenarios where you don't need regeneration, you don't need to just keep everyone alive, like 2v2s, 1v1s. It's great for stuff like that. It's gonna basically pop you into a 50% damage modifier, whether you're a healer or a DPS. Like, no matter what abilities you cast, you're locked into 50%, which is high. And I don't know if this is a bug or not, but I know historically, your the confidence boost that controllers would get on healers, they wouldn't get that on someone in Gorilla form either. And I think even the healing and the damage and all that's boosted in it. But the key thing that kind of comes out of that is if a troller's facing a healer, and usually that should spell disaster for the healer, but if the healer has the supercharge to get into Gorilla form, that controller might as well just pick a different target. Or maybe even run. So, I mean, it's basically the nature version of Ice Elemental. You're just in awesome mode. But it's not like Arbiter of Destiny where it's okay, I can do some super heals, but I'm not really doing any damage. The damage output of Gorilla form is just massive.
Okay. So out of the changes,
then you get brawling abilities and acro.
Yeah. Yeah, that's another cool thing. I played with Primal Wolf form and learning the combinations. I really do like the combination for Primal Wolf form. I really do. Insectoid form, I think, could probably use a little bit more. Maybe another. I'm not really sure what another ability or another combo it could really use. But Primal Wolf form, DPS wise, it was really fun to play with. Really, really fun.
Yeah, I miss some of the old combinations, but I remember people used to complain about the wolf form in PvP because you never knew, are they lunging, are they block breaking, and even the ability to throw in, the little counter icons. When you could see the counter icons over top of your head, that was a benefit, so people could see it coming. But now that's all gone because the ranged actually looks ranged, so you can kind of tell it's coming. But back in those days, when people complained about it the most, it also had a bug where if you countered a wolf, you wouldn't get immunity. So it's the wolf could get immunity from you, but you couldn't get it from the wolf. And when it was like that, people were really exploiting in PvP. So it was the combination of the two that made people most mad. But most nature players back then that played wolves knew how to counter a wolf, because a wolf is either going to lead with a lunge or lead with a block breaker. So you know when it's coming. You just don't know which. You have a 50-50 chance of guessing which one it is. And so knowing exactly when you have a counter opportunity was something that you could take advantage of, and usually you could predict what people were going to lead with, because they just keep leading with the same thing over and over. And then once they try to switch, usually you could even guess when they were going to switch. But it's not that bad now, because now all that's gone, and it just feels like something. It just feels like any other ability, but or any other type of weapon.
So, with all the nature changes that have gone into play with the new abilities, with some of the rework of the abilities, what is your favorite part that's been changed?
Oh, I think everyone's favorite part's going to be adding voracious plants. I mean, it's like I said, it's the DPS ability that every power set wants. A spammable, clippable, short animation, range DPS, AOE, with a PI.
Yeah, it is pretty good, isn't it? So now we've talked a little bit about what is good, the good aspects. What are some of the changes that you feel that they didn't do really well on? What is there something that you feel like needs to probably be looked at again?
Let's see. Looked at it again. I think it would be really cool if Bloom did give us kind of that jump cancel back. Maybe only if you jump canceled within the first like half a second or quarter of a second of the cast, which would let you be able to you'd have to time it right and it'd have to be fast. But if you don't make that window, it's gonna do its ability and do everything else. I would have loved having that back.
Yeah, they do that though.
It was just so useful in challenges and duos too.
If they do that though, man, they've got to do that with all the other powers too. If they do that though, they got to do that with the other powers too, like mass debt. I would love to be able to do that with mass debt also. But I think people would just be throwing out way too much damage then. It'd be kind of like I don't know.
Because before nature had
Celestial.
before nature had voracious plants, you needed it. So I guess now that you have that, you don't really need it. Another thing, let's see, I would have loved to have seen Harvest, its pheromones actually compete with the same pheromone slot as Bloom instead of competing with the pheromone slot of Metabolism. I think that would have been great. Because then it's going to give a lot of healers choose not to use Harvest only because it competes with the same pheromone slot with Metabolism, which I personally find irrelevant. Because you're both heals as a primary heal are strong, and I'd like to just have both in my tool bag, but that deters a lot. That'd probably make a pretty big difference. The overall dot and hot overriding would have made a big difference. Canine form, it would have been pretty cool if they would have gotten into canine form and given it some actual weapon combos. Because right now all you have is faster power regeneration, and all you can do is your tray abilities. But if you just spam your tray abilities, you're still going to use up your power. So it's it's only good as something that you could have in a duel situation to you're fighting someone as a DPS, you're getting low on health, quickly pop to canine, and do a go into stealth, pop a damage ability to get your crit, and then clip that with the heal in Wolf, which is a really huge single target heal for yourself, called Muttabolism, not Metabolism, but Muttabolism, MUTT, and then flip back out of canine form and continue on attacking. On top of that, I looked at all this on the PC and the PS4, so I haven't seen any of it on the PS3. I don't know what the transformation speed for insect form and wolf form is like on the PS3 anymore, but on the PC and on the PlayStation 4, it's pretty instant, so that's it. They at least did good for those platforms.
Okay.
But yeah, and bug form, I wish personally I could be in bug form and see my character, whether it was a visual effect, like someone saying right there in the chat, I forgot. Was it Crappy that? I can't see who said it now. Oh no, it was Crappy Heels who said it, and have it attach on you or buff on you or buff over you. Because being in insect form, it's kind of ugly. So, if maybe in wolf and insect, maybe if there's a male and female character models for those, or maybe if they just weren't so ugly, or maybe like you had the choice to be in your own character model but have those benefits. I can see why they didn't do that, but at least the stuff they did with the movement kind of makes up for the fact that they didn't do it. But I'm not one to really complain about the things they didn't do because I loved the power set before and they only made it better. So, might as well not brag too much.
All right. Now, and one thing that you definitely brought up before was that overriding healing, the overriding damage, and as we now see, the overriding damage and overriding healing is now actually, I want to say, is it fixed? Is it, or at least it was posted onto the on the patch notes to me. It clearly says it now that healing will not override the damage. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, and that's more so with like harvest. If you have a nature healer and a nature DPS in the group, nature DPS puts some dots out there, spreads them. Nature healer just wants to use harvest for the pheromones and the healing. He hits the target with that. In the past, he would spread those dots to all those targets, stealing the dots from the DPS, and those dots would be ticking at his lower might value damage. So now at least, the healer's not going to steal the DPS's dots. The DPS's dots take precedent. And if there's any additional targets that didn't have dots, the healer would spread damage dots to them. So the nice thing there is it's like intelligent about, what's going to take precedent on a target between a healer and a DPS. That's a direction that I think they could do more with. What if you have two DPS in a group? Well, maybe if one of them has more might, let his dots survive. Or what if you have two healers in the group and one of them has higher restoration than the other? Maybe let the one with higher restos hots, take precedent. That's kind of areas they could take it further in terms of intelligent overriding or not overriding. But they didn't quite take it so far as, if you have two nature healers in the group, if both of them cast Savage Growth, the second one is going to be the one that puts hots on the group. The first one would put hots on the group and the second one would overwrite that. Or if there's two nature DPS in a group, one casts Briar on a target and another does, the second one wins. Or if they've spread, the second one, just overwrote all the dots that the first one had. And nature's a dot class. Its primary damage is going to come from having a lot of dots ticking on the mob at the same time and just sustaining a huge amount of damage spread across everyone. And, you're not going to get that where two dot players can kind of work in synergy with each other. They didn't really address that. But like I said, that was something that they've hinted that they want to even go in that direction. But it would just take a more significant engineering effort than just adjusting a player package power set.
Well, very nice, very nice. If you guys have any questions to Soar, you can of course find them on the forums as Soar, S-O-E-R. You can also find, your Twitter handle is Soar DCUO, isn't it?
S-O-R-E.
S-O-R-E. Crap, what did I spell? Did I spell sour?
Yeah,
Why do I feel like I spell sour?
S-O-E-R.
S-O-E-R. Wow. All right. Well, it's definitely that kind of night now. You can find them also on Twitter at Soar DCUO. Correct?
Yep.
Okay. I did spell that one right, or at least said it right.
And I'm Soar DCUO on Twitch as well.
There you go. Yes, find them on streaming. Yay, PS4 streamers. Woo.
Well, we can't put adornments on our stream though, so I feel so nice when I'm streaming from the test server because I got all my stuff set up on my screen, but then I go to PS3 and it's like, oh, this looks so plain.
Yeah, I mean, it would be nice to see how they would put like an overlay system into the PlayStation 4 streaming. Now, I mean, and if Xbox gets it when they can do streaming, then I'm gonna have a problem because PS4 should have it too. It's not like the Xbox One's any better. Ooh, entertainment. Anyways,
I just wish I could figure out. I haven't looked at my Elgato very closely yet for any of that stuff. So I wonder if there's a way we can do it with my PVR.
you're right. I didn't look at that either. I thought I saw maybe an overlay system on. That would be interesting to look into. I might look into that myself for you. So they're making Nature's OP threads as we speak. Nice, Crappy. That's awesome. So coming next year, we're gonna try to get. I'm gonna try my best to get Tharkus to come onto the show at the beginning of the year in January, to come on the show and talk about the sorcery changes. So be sure to stay tuned for that next year. Now we're going to switch things over to Game Update 33 on the test server right now. How has your experience been so far?
Well, we should start with the fact that there's something on the test server that's not technically Game Update 33, right? Is Armory's Game Update 33?
I'm going to go with their Game Update 33.
It's separate from a game up.
We were told it was going to be separate.
Because they were saying it was like a marketplace item that will come before the end of the year.
I'm not really sure if Mebs, whenever he hears it.
But either way.
The armories?
Yeah, I mean, I'm thinking they're going to be tied in with Game Update 33. That's why I'm gonna guess. But, I mean, we'll let Meps verify if he's still in chat whenever he hears this, because this whole system here is wiggity whack.
Yeah, I guess that's right. Because I remember them saying that Game Up 3, it was going to come between 32 and DLC 9. And originally they're planning for it to be in December, which I thought that would have meant like 32 just got out, and 33 might be a little bit afterwards. But yeah, since 33 and Armories hit the test server together, they're probably paired together.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
But that's big news, Armories.
Yes. If Armories comes out before Game Day 33, it's not like I'm going to flip a table mad. It's like, yay, even better. I don't have to wait for the rest of this crap. Let's do this. But yeah, Armories, woo! You finding bugs all over the place, you reporting them, you're just such a good tester.
Yeah, I heard they had another fix too. That was if you had the maximum number of armories, you couldn't imprint in one, and if you moved an armory and then imprinted in it, the paper dowel that's in the armory would be at the old location. So I think Christiana found a couple of those. So at this point, it sounds like there's going to be a few cycles. I think we should all just on the test server just rubber stamp it and say it's fine, just so we can get it on live that much sooner. 'Cause who wants to wait? I've been waiting for armories forever.
I will completely agree. I would. It's like Blake, and here the forums like, oh my god, there's so many bugs. It's like, but is it working? Can you imprint? Can you use it in game? Shut up! I don't care about the bugs. As long as it works. As long as it works. As long as I can imprint, use it in battle, I don't care. Just don't care.
Nope. I mean, it's a bummer for some people that you can't save partial specs. You got to have all but the least amount of skill points you can have spent is you have 10 unspent skill points and 3 unspent power points. Other than that, so you got to spend most of your skill points and power points. So you can't use it as a tool for free respecs or in the field respecs. It's meant to be a specific build. I think that's probably because if you could do those free respecs, some people would probably just live with just the one armory. And I think we can be honest about this. I mean, armories look like they were designed to make money. I mean, they're so sought after and so wanted. I mean, why wouldn't they try, to make some money off of a feature that they had to invest in that way? Especially in a game that has premiums and has microtransactions and has that sort of thing going on. Being a free-to-play game, it's just not surprising they designed it that way. I mean, if I take my gamer sweatpants and free those off and put on my business suit, I think it's the right make money decision that you'd have to make if you were operating a business.
And everyone on the test server has definitely been talking about those restrictions, the 10 skill points, the 3 power points. And I think it was Jens. It might have been Meps came on the forums and talked about that, meaning that they really weren't supposed to be like a free respec station. They were supposed, so that's why they put those restrictions in. When they talked about it on the live stream, when it was in, when they did their official live stream talking about armories, and I think Jens brought that up, that you could possibly use it like that, or we were even talking about it in that Twitch chat. I was, and that's why I even went with my streams both Wednesday and last night, going with using it as a free respec, but with these restrictions, you can't do that. You can't just make a skeleton of your skill points and make your power points unused. No, it's actually going to have to be setly designed. This is your spec. This is it. And that hurt. And
honestly, man, I mean, I'd rather it be where I've got every single skill point spec'd into a loadout than, only a partial, because that's just less freaking specking I have to do. You know?
I know my first thought was, if I have 16 armories, my first one would be a partial spec so that I could then set up my second armory by fully specking in, and then I would respec to that partial spec so I could set up my third one, and then respec to the partial one so I could set up my fourth one. So it was kind of like a place I could go back to for setting up other specs, was what I was hoping to do with it, but you won't be able to do that. Because now, each time you set up your next spec, you're going to have to do a full respec. Unless it's just your styles you want to change, or unless it's just your power points you want to change. But if it's your skill points too, you're going to have to reset all of them to get your next armory imprinted.
Okay. And now on the test server, they just gave us the vendor now has the extra armory, so now we can test that, which is going to be awesome, because I'm going to be definitely playing with that this weekend. And I definitely have a video out on my channel. I did a live stream last night talking about.
Really looking.
I'll definitely have.
Sorry, yeah. Apparently Skype is like all late. But I have a video on my channel. I did a stream last night. That's on. It is an hour and 45 minutes, but I do have timestamps in the description talking about everything that's in Game Update 33. So if you guys want, you can take a look at that video after you leave the stream, or sometime this weekend, whatever. But Armories is definitely just going to be so wicked to use. PvP Season 2 comes out as well. I know Super Patriot's excited.
Yeah.
And honestly, it's the changes. Have you actually read the notes for this, Soups?
I've read, the whole, the lockout's gone, which I think is fantastic. The gear is going to be a lot easier to get. As far as any recent changes, though, I have not seen. So you're going to need to be a little bit more specific.
Okay. Yeah, the lockout's gone. The how to get your PvP marks is changing as well because of this. So, what's your PvP CR right now, Soups? If you
it's
know
84.
84. Oh wow! So everyone's really just starting off the bat then. So here's how this is for arenas. Okay, for arenas will still grant you your marks of valor. Okay, but it's going to be based off your PvP combat rating. So if you have a combat rating of 0 to 86, you're going to get 2 marks if you lose and 4 marks if you win. All right? Combat rating of 87, 5 marks if you lose, 10 if you win. 88, 10 if you lose, 20 if you win, and then 89 or higher, 20 marks if you lose, 40 if you win. Thoughts?
I mean, they did the scaling of the how many marks you earned in the last season. But these were the marks that you actually got from the lock boxes, not the lock boxes, but the reward boxes.
Yeah.
In there. So I mean, the scaling of how many marks you earn isn't really a new thing. I think it's really good though. The amount of marks that you earn is still comparable to those reward boxes at the higher tiers. Even though you're not getting those reward boxes, but I mean, I think it's a good thing. I like it because I mean, you're going to be able to go in there and like PvP all day, if you want to, and if you're really out there to get your gear, get your PvP gear, you're going to be able to go in there and just group up with a buddy or two, or just queue up lair battles and or whatever the 1v1 map is, and just keep doing it over and over and over again. Until you get to where you want to be at, or you get to the top level of gear that's available. So I mean, I think it's awesome. I think it's awesome for anybody. I mean, plus it takes the whole replay badge system out of it, with the whole lockouts thing and everything. So I'm glad of that. I'm also glad to see that the original PvP gear styles are still available for purchase and all that for everybody out there that doesn't have those feats as well. I think this is great. This is great. This is what they should have done with the first PvP season.
Now, Sora, did you notice?
In my opinion.
Did you notice that on the heroes for the PvP for these variant styles, did you see that they put the PvE tier 1 in place of the 9th metal gear for PvP?
No, I didn't.
That they made a mistake.
Oh yeah, the Speed Force Flash
Spectrum. Yeah, Speed Force Spectrum is on the PvE style Fender on the test server. So it's supposed to be the Hawkman inspired gear, which that will be fixed before it hits live. I'm sure they've noticed that it's taken a while for them to actually publish a new version of test to get that fixed. But I chuckled a little bit when I saw that. I had no choice but to chuckle. And the new styles coming with that, because now we're coming into Tier 5. The Tier 5 armor is based off of, when we actually find them, for the heroes, this is inspired by Red Tornado, which is the elemental android. And then for the villains, inspired by Amazo, you get the adaptive android. I'm sorry I don't have pictures with me. I meant to actually take pictures today, but work was really busy. But if I had to choose between the elemental android or the adaptive android, Red Tornado or Amazo, I'm gonna have to go with Red Tornado. But and honestly, I'm not even looking at it as a complete set of gear. I'm looking at certain pieces, because Red Tornado, the helmet with the elemental android, and the chest with the whole arrow on the head, the T on the chest, it looks really cool. With Amazo, the one thing I definitely liked about it was the chest. It had, and the back piece. It had that giant, bright triangle on the back, on his back, and on his chest as well. I mean, it was really cool. And these are definitely inspired by. These are great iconics for PvP. Just great. So,
well, one of the other nice things too is going to be the synthetic mods.
That's right.
Especially on even the PvP side, because now you won't have to actually, waste all your farmed exobits trying to, like, say if you're not at the top level already and you need to move through a few tiers, if you want to throw some cheaper mods on your gear as you're moving up, go ahead and put a synthetic tier 3 mod in, as opposed to not modding at all. Get you in that game and help you bridge that gap a little bit, because tier 3 synthetic PvP mod costing 10 marks of valor, or tier 4 25, or tier 5 50, that's going to make a pretty big difference, as you're working your way up the marks of valor, because if your combat rating is 89 or more, and you're getting 40 marks of valor, those tier 3 mods are going to be pretty cheap at $10 a piece. That's one win. You can get 4 of them.
Yep. Now, I did find out last night on my stream, because it was brought up, it's like, well, one, do the synthetic mods affect CR? It does. It affects your CR for PvP and PvE. Are they interchangeable? Well, the tier 3 mods are the same. All the mods are really the same. It's just which one costs. You could use your PvE marks to buy your mods, and you could put those mods on your PvP gear, and vice versa. So, for me, I see that as a win. So if I have any valor, I'll probably use those valor points to grab those mods and put them in the gear and get it up. So all the people who have that hump trying to get from CR 69 to 70, I think this might be able to help you guys out a little bit. It's also going to definitely help out the free to players. I think the free to players are really going to like this.
Depending on the cost, I mean, if the cost gets up to where the mods cost more than 2,000 in-game cash, then it may be a little bit more problematic for them.
I didn't see a cost. I didn't see like a cash cost. I saw just marks.
Yeah, that's what they're saying. Just
there's always a cash cost. There's always a cash cost.
Yeah, we'll have to
involved
test that. Go take a look at that on the test server,
because
I know I haven't tried to craft any.
Because if you look at other R&D materials that require like the catalysts, those have a cash cost on top of the Triumph cost.
Yeah, I'm going to load up the test server right now and find it. No, Crappy. These synthetic mods, you buy them from the vendor, you put them on your gear, you cannot sell them, you cannot recover them. Once they are on your gear, you cannot get rid of it unless you override it with another mod. So it's pretty much there.
You can't recover them and try and cheat and not get out of farming for Crappy.
I know for me, I don't. You know me, I don't like to farm.
Besides Crappy, if you're going to be PvPing Crappy, you need to get the best mods available for you. Right? I've seen you PvP, buddy.
Okay, so Darkside went on the test for us. It's $12.50 to buy them. That's the cash. So free to players can still use them.
That's good.
So yeah, I'm very happy with that myself. So most people find this to be lazy, and honestly, I am okay with it. If I use a synthetic mod and I'm being called lazy, I am perfectly fine with that. It's like, I'm lazy. Everyone knows it. I hate modding. Modding is the devil to me. I just don't. I don't have time. I just don't want to do it. So I'm going to buy my synthetic mods, and the synthetic mods are only the single colors. It's only the single colors. So it's not.
It's all about utilizing your time, though. It's all about utilizing your time properly. And it's like, while we're doing the SourceCast, you could be farming right now.
I can't be on the game.
I
can't be on the game. It causes me to lag. We saw this. It causes me to lag. It messes up the stream, so I can't be on the game. Now, when I move to my new apartment next year, which I'm working
Sword
on,
could be farming right now. Sword could be farming.
Yeah,
right
but
now.
I could also be like dusting my house right now. But I just really don't want to be dusting my house.
Excellent.
Things you should be doing and could be doing, but you just really hate doing.
That's what I'm talking about. Oh. So.
I'm farming right now.
But I mean, at least these synthetic mods will probably become the new beta mods. So when you're moving through cheap, throwaway tiers of gear to get your CR up, you can kind of throw away a couple marks here and there to do better than a beta.
Yeah.
And that'll be nice.
Now, as far as I've actually found out on my stream last night, that these tier 3 mods are actually the same stats as the mods that you create for those single colors. So these are actually the same stats. So if you don't want to farm and collect all those exobits and everything for the tier 3 restoration mod, you can go and spend 125 marks of triumph and buy that mod at the vendor. And also these three, the tier 3, let me actually get a test server to make sure I'm actually saying this right. For the PvE, the tier 3 vendors, vendor consoles in the headquarters, they have those tier 3 mods. You can also find them in the vendors in Lightning Strikes DLC in Central City. The tier 4 mods are located at the tier 4 armor vendor consoles in the headquarters. Tier 5 is in the consoles as well, and also in Gotham Wastelands. For the PvP, your tier 3 mods are located with, for heroes, Aquaman, Hawkgirl, and Robin, Felix Faust, Two-Face, and Ursa for villains. The same goes for tier 4. You can find them at those vendors as well. In tier 5, you'll find them at the requisition droids over there in those areas where they're at. Now remember that you still have to meet the combat ratings in order to see them. For PvE, 53 for tier 3, 70 for tier 4, and 84 for tier 5. For tier 3, you need a PvP rating of 86 and 87. Tier 4, 86 and 87. And in tier 5, you need an 88, 89, or 90 to see them. Okay? So, we are a little bit pressed for time, so I don't really want... I can't really go much into the details of the weapon changes for the charge attacks that everyone is just blowing up about. Have you messed with them a little bit? Yes, we can.
Well, I did go at least.
They need to be done.
Yeah, I did. I got as far as to test the one-handed focus blast nerf.
Same here.
They might have gone too far. It needed to be done, but they might have gone too far. Fully charged focus blast is doing like the exact same. Well,
I've seen videos of those. I've seen videos of the charge.
Now it's doing the same damage as a rifle tap triangle or tap range,
and that's fine. That's fine because I'm sorry. All right, here's my thing. All right, one, a lot of those tests, were being done on practice dummies, showing that damage off. Okay, so you weren't really seeing what like the block break damage is on those. Plus, a lot of the people that were doing those tests weren't like in like full PvP gear with the full expert mods and everything like that. Like we're seeing right now. I mean, there's people right now in the game that are either 100 CR for PvE, spec modded for full precision, or in 80 full vengeance or punchline for PvP, spec fully for and modded for vengeance. Precision. And they are critting people for over like 4 to 5K when they're not blocking. All right, and just imagine how hard they're hitting when they are blocking. All right, and they're getting
you're talking about
a block breaker like that. All right, I'm talking about right now, currently. Yeah. So I mean, if people are complaining about the fully charged only doing as much damage as a rifle's tap. Okay, here's my thing. All right. Brawling, for instance. Brawling hits around the same numbers that one-hander. The brawling hold block breaker, hold range attack, is doing the same amount of damage that the one-hander is doing on the test server right now. All right? Brawling is supposed to be one of the harder-hitting weapons in the game. Okay? So, for me, it makes sense. It also makes sense to me that, a melee weapon should not be doing more damage with a ranged attack than ranged weapons do with their ranged attacks.
Mm-hmm.
It just shouldn't be that way. It just shouldn't be that way. I mean, a one-handed block breaker like that, fully charged, should not be hitting harder than, say, Solar Flare does.
Agreed,
or just the fully charged,
also gonna get
hold for. For hand blasters, but I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Because the melee weapons are also going to get those crit bonuses just for being melee. So I agree with you on that factor as well. because they're meant to get a
so,
bonus for getting up in there, with your melee attacks.
Yeah, and how when people were talking about that, even when showing it last night, I didn't see where differences. I didn't see where it was needed on a PVE standpoint, because that's where my mindset is. My mindset is for a PVE standpoint.
Everybody's using one-handers now in the raids. Everybody's using one-handers now in the raids.
Is it because of the focus blast, or is it just because of just the attack?
Yeah, it's because of focus. It's because of how hard focus blast hits.
Then I must be that guy who goes with one hand because I really like the actual usage of it and how I can clip out of it faster.
Oh,
and I've never used focus blast unless I'm block breaking someone. I've never used it. Never use focus blast unless I'm block breaking. I've never gone to a raid just wanting to focus blast every single time. It's not in my rotation. It's just not. If anything, I always do my big cleave move after doing that rapid strike. That's my thing. I'll do a rapid strike all damn day. If God forbid if I'm dual wield, I am spinning all day. Spinning. Crazy.
Yeah. Well, dual wield got a buff with its hold charge,
the thing is, though,
and that looked like it went too far as a buff
bit
too.
Much. Yeah, it's too much. It's too much. I mean, it looks like it's back to where it was before they toned it down. Because before everybody started using, most people were using hand blasters, and then they gravitated to one hand. But before hand blasters, everybody was using the dual wield, fully charged throw. I mean, they've got a lot of fine tuning they need to do with all of the weapons. To be honest with you, about as far as the damage they do and everything like that. Like Mega Smash on two-hander, that has not been relevant since before Mega servers. To be honest with you, and two-hander, while it's the slowest weapon in the game, should be the hardest hitting one in the game, and it's just not. It's just not. I don't see it. Brawling is the same way. I mean, it's like I don't know. So I don't know if you remember back, in the day, like around launch time, there used to be this glitch with brawling and flight. You used to be hitting people twice as hard if you were in flight mode and you're using brawling. They fixed that. They fixed that glitch, and now and ever since then, brawling is hardly been almost relevant. I mean, I love brawling. I use brawling. I still hit hard with brawling. But I mean, there's like, if when I'm doing that the long combo, the haymaker combo, I'm hitting for more damage with the uppercut than I am with the actual haymaker. That makes no sense because that haymaker is the last end of that combo, and it's so freaking slow and easy to predict half the time. And there's other weapons too that only pay off if you do the long combos on them. Brawling is one, two-handers one, and shield is another one. I mean, they only really pay off on long combos, and even martial arts to some extent. I mean, you got to get to that elbow drop. I mean, that's kind of a long combo, and a lot of people again see that one coming. The smoke bomb for martial arts, same thing. And I'm not trying to suggest that they bump all the weapons up so like their taps are hitting everybody for like close to a 900 or something like that. But at the same time, there's just a lot of tweaking they need to do with balancing the weapons and the damage output they do, what their range attacks damage does, and honestly, they need to adjust some of the interrupt windows with the combat mechanics. Because I can be blocking in this game, and this isn't lag. Before on PS3 I thought it was lag, but ever since I've started playing on the PS4, I've realized it hasn't been lag. It's just the window's just way too wide open. I can be blocking somebody, and I'll come out block, and I'll be like almost on with brawling even. I'll be like getting ready to throw my second punch in my combo, and they throw a block breaker, and I get block broken. That window's way too huge. So I mean, they need to tighten the windows up on the interrupts, and they need to also, do some more balance, with the weapons. And don't even get me started on the movement modes.
I get a
Don't
different
even get me started.
I get a different experience with the counters personally. I get like I end up facing a lot of people that like just tap their block like they're anticipating when I'm gonna need it, and there's just not enough time for me to even react anymore and reactively counter them based off of what I'm seeing. Like I have to be predicting it to see. The only time I ever get that stuff where I'm out of the animation and I still get countered, I think usually it's just lag, where what the server thinks I'm doing and what I'm doing are really out of sync with each other, but not because the window is wide, but because I'm just out of sync with the timing of what the server acknowledges happened and what my client thought happened.
Yeah, I mean, and that's a possibility too. But I mean, it's like I've seen times too where, I've thrown a block breaker and I know they're getting ready to lunge me because the block breaker didn't actually connect. So I'll block and they lunge and I get block broken, or I get interrupted like I was still throwing a block breaker. The windows are just way too wide for that. Plus with the block, I mean, they changed the way block is. I mean, you even if you just tap it, you're still holding it for a solid second. I mean, you tap it and just take your finger completely off the R1, and you're still holding that block for a good second. So I mean, it's promoted a lot of. I mean, for some people, turtling's become one of the things they do in PvP, but it also makes it to where I don't know. It just seems. It seems less, there's less skill involved.
It doesn't seem tight.
There's less skill involved in it because it's just not tight. They loosened it up even more than it was before, and I just I want some of the stuff I want back. I was like we were all at that PvP panel at SOE Live. Where Tunso was saying we would like the old days of PvP back, but we can't do it because we had to balance things out. People were just hitting everybody way too freaking hard. And to an extent, I agree with that. But at the same time, man, a lot of stuff they did, man, it loosened. It took a lot of the skill out of the gameplay, and it which in turn took a lot of the fun out of it. And not to mention the fact that just I'm not saying, going into a pug, or going into an arena match with a pre-made and just, rolling over pugs, back to back to back is fun, because it's not. I mean, it's not. I know it's not fun for them. I can just, but it's not fun for the pre-mades either. They're going in, but at the same time, I mean, that should be an encouragement. I've said this before. That should be an encouragement for you to group up with your friends for PvP. And not trying solo queues into stuff like 5s and 4s.
All right. Well, one last thing before we go. Oh.
I mean, they used to have it. Oh, go ahead.
Yeah, just wanted to move along because the time is a little bit escaping. But
yeah. See, when we start talking about PvP, Trex wants to move the subject along.
Calm down.
Because I was just thinking the old days of the mega crits. They tried to tone that down by taking a critical magnitude and cutting it in half, and taking a critical chance in PvP and cutting it in half. Mm-hmm. And some people think that it's capped, but it's actually halved. But the big thing there is just that kind of slowed down the kills, but then you look at everything else that had happened since, take that halving, take the immunities, take the home turf. We got moved into an area where matches went from, high scoring, high kills, fast paced action. You got to get back in there. You got to get back in there to like these stalemates. So I definitely agree that even as a healer, I used to be the tank because everyone would focus fire me, and it would mean like, can I out survive being killed more than their healer can out survive being killed? And those are the things that could make a big difference for the group. I know back then I didn't mind that I was getting killed like every few seconds or a few minutes, like that it was really fast because I still had to come back and I was still competing with their healer to not die as fast as they're dying. So that fast pace and those high death counts, were pretty cool, and I understand what they did, and it looks like they're pulling it back.
It had a lot more excitement to it. It had a lot more excitement to it, not just participating, but watching videos of it. I mean, because you'd be in there and all that, and all of a sudden, boom! Oh Jesus! Sword just got one shot. Where'd that come from? And stuff like that. Now it's like people are in there. They're going through their normal. Okay, they're going through their normal focus firing. Switch over here. Okay, let's switch over here. Okay, let's. All right, somebody put out supercharge on so we keep the heals up. Okay, somebody drop supply drop so we keep the power up for everybody. Switch over here, switch to this target, switch to this target. And then it's just like a game to see who can catch who. Without having the immunities, not having a supercharge ready for power or heals. It's just a game of doing that. And the only exciting times are when you got somebody who's like below half health and you hurry up and you switch onto them, and I mean you get like in a 15-minute match you get maybe 2 minutes total of like actual excitement out of it. And so, I mean, I don't know.
All right, so Trek, do you wanted to move us along?
All right, all this PvP talk's making Trex uncomfortable. So let's move on.
No, I mean, I literally have a movie to go to. I have a movie to go to.
Yeah.
That's why I'm moving this along. One last thing, because it was reminded to me, coming up in Game Update 33, is the changes to the Tier 3 costs. PvE Tier 3 costs. All the stuff from the Meta Wings, the Kryptonian gear, all that, the costs have been halved. Everything has been halved. So enjoying that right now. Because I think I have like 4,000 marks on my main, on Black Ember, and I'm going to spend all those marks just straight going with my Tier 3 gear to get all those styles back. To get all those styles so I can get those feats done. So, really happy about that. Super happy. And if you guys want to chime in how you guys feel about the Tier 3 costs.
I mean, it's gonna make it easier for people that have got alts to get them geared up. It's gonna make it people that are new come to the game to get geared up and get caught up with everybody. So I mean, I guess it's a good thing and everything. Mm-hmm. At the same time, I'd like to get a refund on all the marks that I spent on that gear. But that would be nice.
Those
but I mean,
forever.
Yeah.
Excuse me. I want to thank Soar for coming on to the show and breaking us earlier, just destroying us completely. I have it written. I just saw my note about it and I just chuckled to myself a little bit. So, still chuckling now. So once again, you can find Soar of course, on the forums as Soar, SORE. Spell it right this time. And you can also find him on Twitter. Yeah, that's. You can also find him on Twitter at Soar DCUO, and you can also find him on Twitch, Soar DCUO. So once again, my friend, thank you so much for coming onto the show again. I don't know when we're gonna have you back, but we want you back. At least I do.
Awesome. Yeah, and I can do that. And the last thing I want to kind of part with on my side is, if anyone out there has excess exobits, feel free to send them to me. I won't complain.
Don't do it. Don't do it. Make him farm. Make him farm. I want to catch him in my farming round. I have yet to see you in game, sir.
Tuesdays
so,
and Sundays. Those are my
Source
gaming days
me.
now.
All right, I'm gonna come hunt for you then.
Most probably. So, of course, you can find the podcast over on Facebook at facebook.com/DCO Source Podcast. You can also find us on the Twitter at DCO SourceCast. Soups, where can we find you?
Well, you, of course, can find me on youtube.com/The Daddy's House. I'm also on Facebook /The Daddy's House there. And I am also on the Twitter at The Daddy's House on there. Trex, where can we find you?
You can, of course, find me over at youtube.com/Trexlight. You can also find me on the Facebook at Trexlight and especially on the Twitter at This Is Trex. 14K tweets. Oh, yeah. That's right.
Says the guy who I had to drag onto Twitter.
Kicking and screaming, and I am so sorry for every moment of me bitching about it because it is so fun. Also, I do have a video on my YouTube channel, the Game Update 33 video. It is an hour and 45 minutes long, but there is in the description there are timestamps if you only want to hear about armories, the PvP Season 2, and the synthetic mods. So the timestamps are down there in the description in case you guys want to skip around and only listen to some stuff. But I do recommend the whole thing. It's all fun. It's all fun in games. So, once again, thank you, Sor, for coming on the show. It really means a lot that you spent your Friday night with us. And
yep, and then you can find me every Thursday at Trex's house, sitting on the couch eating his Cheerios.
Why you gotta bring my Cheerios into this, man? Why?
Instead of farming.
My Cheerios did nothing to you. I am heart healthy, people. I might be a little fat guy. Well, kind of fat. The gut's hanging out again. But, I am heart healthy. Heart healthy, damn it. So, of course, thank you all so much for tuning in. The replay on YouTube will be on YouTube probably in the next couple of days. I'll try and get it out tomorrow if I'm not too busy. But thank you all so much for tuning in once again. We love you all very much. And as normal, Joker's going to send us out. We will see you guys next time. Oh, one last announcement. We will not have a show next week, next Friday. No show on the 27th. It's Christmas-ish. After. Be with your families. Go travel. Do whatever you want. If we live stream from our separate channels, just streaming gameplay, we're streaming gameplay. But either way, have fun. We will be back on January. Yeah. We will be back.
Oh, nice one, Sor.
I don't know if I want him back now. The next DCO SourceCast will be on January 3rd. So thank you all so much for tuning in. We will see you guys on the 3rd. And Joker, send us out, buddy. Or actually, everybody say bye.
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 That's it. Game's over. Step along, nothing to see. Get going before my good mood wears off. That means now.